Good morning, algebra. Let's review what we talked about in class yesterday about graphing equations on our coordinate plane from slope-intercept form. Remember that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope of the equation and b is the y-intercept. So if I start with an equation and I need to graph the line, then I'm always going to start with the y-intercept. Okay, so I'm going to start with at plus 1, positive 1 on the y-axis. So I'm going to go ahead and put positive 1 on my y-axis right there. Sorry, I'm holding my computer in my hand, so it's a little funny here. Now I'm going to count out my slope. So I'm going to think of this as negative 3 up or down, right? So negative 3 is going to be down 3, and 5 to the right. So negative 3, so I'm going to count this negative 3 down, and I'm going to count 5 to the right. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right. If I want to add more points, I'm going to again count 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points to the right. You can see a little staircase growing here, okay? And so now I'm going to count. I can keep that staircase going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, right? So I'm going to keep that staircase going, and I've got my line. So when you are graphing from slope-intercept form, we are going to start at the y-intercept, which is the plain old number sticking off the end, and then we're going to count out slope. We count out the numerator up and down, up or down, depending on whether it's positive or negative. And we always count the denominator to the right. You get your little staircase going, and then you can continue it in the opposite direction on the other side of the y-intercept. So this is graphing. If I started out with this graph and I needed to write the equation, then I can see right here that this line crosses the y-axis at y equals 1. Right? So I've got this y equals 1 right here. And so I can go ahead and know that my b is going to be plus 1. And then I can count out the slope. So I can count that this is a negative slope. If this were my bank account, it would be going down. So this is a negative slope. So I'm going to count down 1, 2, 3, and then across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to know that m equals negative 3 over 5. Okay? Okay, so you need to memorize that and learn that it's not complicated, but you do need to actually memorize and learn that piece. So the question becomes, what if I'm given my slope and a single point? So this is a line that has a slope of 5/2, and that runs through the point negative 2, negative 11. So somewhere on that line is point negative 2, negative 11. We are looking for the y equals mx plus b equation. We're looking for this equation in slope-intercept form. So let's see what we can plug in. Because I would say that the thing we don't know is b. We do know that 5/2 is the slope, so I can plug in or substitute 5/2 for the m. And what else do we know? We know 1 point, which means that the point, those values, those x and y values work in the equation, meaning if I plug them in for x and y, then they will work in this equation when b is in place. So I can plug this negative 2, let's get this computer here, I can plug this in where the x is, and I can plug the negative 11 in where the y is. So let's see what that looks like. So this is going to be negative 11, right, plugged in for y, equals 5/2 for the m times negative 2. I'm going to put that over 1 just because I'm dealing with fractions here, plus b. Okay, so let's see. I know how to solve for b. I know how to reduce before I multiply here. So this is going to be divide by 2, so this is negative 1. So this becomes negative 11 equals negative 5 plus b. So negative 5 plus b equals 11, right? So plus 5 to both sides, plus 5 to both sides. So b here equals negative 6, right? So this tells me that this line with a slope of 5/2 and running through this point, -2, -11, has a y-intercept of -6. So my final step is to write the equation. Y equals 5/2 x minus 6. So when you do problems like this, they give you the slope, they give you a point through which it runs, through which the line runs. You're going to plug in the slope. You're going to plug in the point into the x and y values, making sure to plug x into x and y into y, right? We've got this -2 is x. It's always alphabetical, and -11 is y. I plug them in. I go through the math of solving that equation, looking for b, and then I go back to my original y equals mx plus b equation. Put the slope in place for m, put the y-intercept in place for b.